When looking for the king of podcasts, you're at the wrong channel. Looking for good ideas for life? You are far from good hands. If you think the listener is always right, you are far from the right place. Hosted by a Northeasterner by birth, a rebel by choice. If you want a host that floats between love and madness, then play on and listen to Crazy Train Radio.
What up? Excuse me while I whip this out.
Oh, gnarly!
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
And good evening, friends!
With over 30 years of experience and a superb reputation for being a detail-oriented company, Lacey Cleaning has some of the highest work standards in the cleaning business.
That's the fact, Jack!
Whether it's carpet cleaning, tile, grout cleaning, new construction cleanup, rental turnovers, vent and duct cleaning, odor elimination, office and or business cleaning, power washing, residential cleaning, you name it, they do it. Check them out. To contact them today, laceycleaning@gmail.com or call them at 609-709-8536.
That's what I'm talking about.
This is the Superfly Jimmy Snuka, and you're listening to Crazy Train Radio.
We have hockey action, yo.
Folks, on the line now, he is probably one of the best known, accurate sharpshooters, I would say, from the game of hockey. Most people realize or remember him for scoring 61 goals, setting a single-season franchise record in 75 and 76. 51 of those were scored at even strength in the game of hockey, which is huge. Mr. Reggie Leach. Reggie, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing just doing wonderful, and I hope that everything's going well with you also.
Oh, can't complain because nobody listens anyway, Reg.
No, that's very true. I have learned that. I've been saying that for years.
That's true. Well, we're recording this beforehand, but you're going to be participating with the Flyers and Penguins alumni game, which will be on January 14th, depending on when you listen to this. Who called you to participate, and when did you first learn about this game? Because it's the 50th anniversary for both the Flyers and the Penguins.
I've known about it for a while. I was asked way back in probably in November or end of October in that area. I knew there was a game coming on, and they wanted to make sure that I was coming because they wanted to put the LCB line together. Clarkie,
yes,
and Billy Barber already said that they were going to commit, and they wanted to make sure I was playing also. So I was happy to do that because it's always great to go back in time and play with your best friends and see all the rest of the guys from different decades that represent the Flyers. And you're going to have all the best Flyers out there from over the decades, and maybe the most popular ones also, and I think it's going to be a wonderful time.
Yes, and this seems even more unique from our perspective anyway than when you guys participated in the Winter Classic back over at Citizens Bank Park. But you mentioned there you're going to be skating with Clarkie and Barber, which it's been announced that this will be the last time those guys throw on a Flyers sweater as far as participating in any kind of alumni game. So how special is that going to be for you to see those guys up close? It's always special when you get together with your old teammates and whatnot, but how special is this going to be for that particular line that you played with back in the Bully days?
You know, I think it's very special because Billy and I and Clarkie we're still very close together. Even you know, we live different lifestyles and live in different areas. I think this is very important to all three of us because this will be the last time we'll ever skate together with a Flyer uniform on. And I think it's something very special, and I think it's, you know, the way we look at it, you know, we're only going to get a couple of skips per period, so which is fun, you know. But it's the idea of being with them again and dressing with them. I know that we're going to be all together in the same area in a locker room, and you know, I can remember the 2000 when Outdoor Classic was there. That was very special, and but this is going to be more special because it's going to be played right in the Wells Fargo Center, and it's a smaller thing. It's sold out, and I think it's going to be more gratifying with hearing these people and everything else, and all these people that are going to be there. They're Flyer nuts, and it doesn't matter what decade that you played in, as long as you play with the Flyers, they're going to cheer for you.
Yeah, and you know, it's once a Flyer, always a Flyer, that's for sure, amongst the fans within the region and Flyer fans all over the world. But you got a unique experience as well besides this, and we were kind of texting with him back and forth last night because we'll be talking to him later. You'll be playing against your son, Jamie, who was a member of the Penguins when they were back-to-back Cups in the early 90s. So are you going to take any cheap shots if you can, if you're on the same ice time as your son?
Well, you know, the thing is that I'm very, very proud that Pittsburgh did ask him to play in this game. I think it's for myself and for him. I think it's very special for father and son to play against each other or play on the same line or whatever it is. You know, I know there's a big space for age-wise and everything else, but you know, getting the opportunity to play in even just an NHL alumni game, which is very important, is to be on ice at the same time, and you know, he's wearing that crazy colors, that black and yellow, and so you know, but it's going to be something. I hope to be on ice at the same time, at least one time during the game, to see how it is. You know, I've been working with Jamie for years now. We both run hockey schools together. We're on ice all together, on ice all the time together. And to me, for him to be there, and for all the fans that are coming, and all my family, and everybody that we grew up together in Cherry Hill, and you know, it's a very special thing for us because a lot of these people are going to come out just to see us on the ice.
Well, you know, as I was doing some reading, and not to sound like a homer during the interview, but I'm going to anyway right here, as I am a Flyers fan. But when I was doing my reading to, you know, get some notes and all to speak with you today, Reg, I find it to be pretty true if folks know anything about hockey history, where there was always a debate, especially in the era that you played, with guys who were strong as hell shooters, say like a Bobby Hall or somebody along those lines. But you were very accurate, I would say. Probably one of the most, if not the most accurate shooter in the game, hence 61 points in 75, 76, whatnot. What do you think's more important trying to work on when you're developing a young hockey player? Because like you said, you do some schools like Shoot to Score hockey and other programs up there in Canada. You
know, hockey today is so much different than when we played. I had to learn this whole game over again, and the way hockey is played today, and way the kids are and everything else. But it's the same thing is that kids today got to have good attitudes. They got to come to the rink to learn. Your skills got to be way up there. You can't just have one skill nowadays. You got to know how to do everything. And with these players in the National Hockey League, the skill they have and the speed and the way they pass and shoot the puck. When we played back in the 70s, there's only a few of us could really shoot the puck really hard. And today, all these kids can shoot the puck, and it's amazing how accurate they are and how strong they are, and everything else. But it's all different. It's a different era of hockey, and I always get asked, it says, do you think you could play in today's hockey? I think I could, because I was a skater and everything else, and stuff like that. I could probably skate with them. But you would have to, you would have to get in shape all the time and everything else. Back when we played, we went to training camp to get in shape. But nowadays, these guys got to be in shape when they go to camp. So there's a big difference. These kids of today are more dedicated in, how good shape they are and how healthy they are and everything else. And hockey changes I would say every 5 or 7 years, and another 15 years from now, hockey's going to change again and keep on different things like that. But hockey is hockey, and it's a wonderful sport for everybody to play. And getting back to these young kids today, is that I get to teach about 2,000 kids a year now at school, and I see all different skills of kids, and it's amazing how well these kids can skate and shoot the puck at a very young age.
Well, do you think a lot of that has to do, because you said obviously the game has changed and evolved over time, even since your playing days. Do you think that's overall because the athletes of today are smarter, or that's just the natural evolution of life?
I'm not. I think the kids today are. Today's hockey to me is like football. You set up a play and I keep working it until it works. They pass the puck back and forth. Right now, we're doing in the National Hockey League right now is that I have to laugh about it, because I always talk about it when I speak at banquets or anything. Is that I remember back in the 70s and late 60s and early 70s that our so-called leaders in the National Hockey League, we'll never play this kind of hockey when we played against European teams and stuff like that. And that's exactly what we're playing today is European hockey. They pass the puck, skate the puck, use their skills, and that's exactly what we're playing, because we're trying to eliminate fighting in the National Hockey League now and stuff like that. But it's to me, it took me a while to get used to this game, the way they play it today. But I love it. I watch these guys now, and it's amazing how skilled they are. You get a Crosby and McDavid, and McDavid's a young 18-year-old, 19-year-old, and these guys are just amazing hockey players.
Well, speaking of that, you mentioned about playing more of a European style and whatnot, which, again, I was doing some reading, God forbid. And I know you will participate in the game, the infamous Russian game. What's your memories on that?
Well, the Russian game was, at that time of our lives and everything else, is that we were the Stanley Cup champions in 1975, and the Russians had played all the other teams in the National Hockey League, and they were very successful. And I know when they played Montreal, they tied to I think they played to either a 1-1 or a 0-0 game. But when they came to us, and now they always thought they were the best players in the world, and we had it in our own mind that we were the best players in the world, and we had to go out and prove it. And tell me the truth, is that everybody thought it was a real rough game, but it really wasn't. For a winger like myself and Billy Barber, it was probably one of the easiest games that we played, because Fred Sherrill had a system against him that we weren't allowed to leave our wing until we got possession of the puck, and because at that time the Russians swung and filled the holes and the lanes, and we just waited for them to come. And that's where I thought it was a very easy game on our part. But there's a couple hits that were made by us, and even today, you talk to Eddie Van Imp, and the biggest thing is everybody talks about the Eddie Van Imp hit on the Russian player, and even today, Eddie still swears that the Russian player ran into his elbow.
Because obviously folks are familiar with the story that after that running into his elbow, accidents happen on the ice, that Ed Snyder had went in and said, "You guys don't come back yet, you ain't getting paid," and all that fun stuff. But
those are the things that we heard also, and at that time, I know the National Hockey League hadn't paid the Russians yet, and it's something that the Russians were always known for doing stuff like that, pulling their teams that they didn't get their way and stuff like that. But it's it's playing in the National Hockey League and playing the way they play all the time, and at that time was they played against teams that were amateur teams, and
Ed Snyder. Sorry, what was that?
I was just saying is that they played a lot of games against what I call amateurs at that time, and the biggest thing was the World Cup and all that stuff. So it's something that when they played the National Hockey League, it was a little tougher for them.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Ed Snyder there, obviously we lost him at the end of last year going into the playoffs. And this would have been, I think, he would have been tickled to death, being the 50th anniversary and all. And, what was it like playing for him, and how did your relationship evolve with Mr. Snyder over the years?
You know what? This is if Mr. Snyder was with us today, I think he still is. He's still watching us, and this would have been his whole tea bag. This is where he would have been smiling and just steady, watching all these players come back to represent the Flyers. 50 years of hockey from 1967 till today, and he would have been in his glory, just to see the players, just to hang around the dressing room and stuff like that. That's the kind of person he was, and we're Philadelphia, city of Philadelphia is going to miss him in the sport world and whatever he has been doing in Philadelphia, and we as hockey players, we appreciate that what he has done for all of us, not just for us on the ice, but off the ice also, and
yeah, because
there
were so many stories with him off the ice that guys didn't really talk about, or like Ed didn't go around patting himself on the back that for stuff that, and I've heard through the grapevine stories of guys or things he would do for ex-players and whatnot. Just, hey, somebody's having a rough time or medical issues or this, that he would reach out and try to help them out, which was awesome.
Well, he was that kind of a person. He helped everybody, and he didn't want to be recognized for that. But we know deep in our heart that Ed Snyder was a kind man to all the players that played for him, and which is really, really, really special. He's a very special person. And last year was a pretty. We lost a lot of good players. We lost Bob Daly this year, and we lost my really good friend Ricky McLeish, and these guys that were all about the same age, and we played together, and it's very sad to lose these players at such a young age.
So to circle that back around, do you think something, because of the real life stuff like that it makes these types of events when everybody gets together more special?
I think it does, because we're going to be talking about Bob Daly, we're going to talk about Snyder, and they're never forgotten. They're part of, for myself, they're part of my life's journey, and anybody that crosses my life's journey is part of my life. So it's something that I have learned over the years, and I think it's going to be very special for everybody this weekend, and I think it's going to be special because we have our families coming in, and we have friends from all over the place coming in. I got my daughters coming in, and with her family, with her grandkids, with my grandkids and stuff. And for me, it's a special thing. And I had so many friends in the Philadelphia area that they're all coming to the game. And I might not have seen them for 30 years, but they're coming. And I hope I get to see them. They at least have a handshake or give them a smile or a hug or whatever. I know we don't have that much time, and it's going to be a very, very not rushed, but busy 3 days. I'm flying into Philadelphia today, and because I have to be at the game tomorrow night. Being as one of the top playoff performers, so it's going to be a busy time for myself.
Yeah, but and you're not the only person I've talked to on the air and off as far as how much this area means to you guys. Because especially, it's funny because, and I'll end on this note, and I think you would agree with me, even though you don't live in the area, that a lot of the Flyers alumni, especially, it came here, and there was just something about the area that there's a lot of, well, those guys on your teams, like a Bernie Perrant and Clarkey and whatnot, who've never left. Like, they were just so thrilled, and like you said, there's just something about the people around here, and that they ended up making their homes here. So,
I think with that is that we all came here as young men. I come to Philadelphia when I was 24. You had Clarkey coming to Philadelphia at 19 years old, and all these other kids that stayed a long time. Bernie Perrant was drafted at 67 with them, and all these guys, Kinderchuk, Seletsky, Schultz, the
Watsons.
And they all came to Philadelphia. They did, and at young ages, and they fell in love with the city. They fell in love with the fans and everything else, and that's what Philadelphia is all about. And for myself is that I lived in Philadelphia for 34 years. I just moved back to Canada 10 years ago, and I still love coming to Philadelphia. Philadelphia will always be my second home, because of all the things, for all the years I spent there, and all the wonderful people I have met. And I got so many great friends that live in that area. It's unbelievable.
Well, for those who hear this beforehand, the game is on January 14th. There's actually going to be a reception on the 13th at Sugar House Casino. You can check it out through the Flyers Alumni Association. Reggie, thank you so much. Enjoy the weekend, seeing everybody and playing and just taking in the weekend.
Well, I just hope that everybody comes out there and supports us and come out and have fun. If you see any of the alumni players around, just go up and shake their hands and thank them, and that's what it's all about. It's that it itself is that we want to give something back to the fans. I know that Clarkey and I and Billy are going to be tickled to be out there because of we're not going to be fast, but we're going to be out there.
Yeah, you guys are going out just to have some fun, I would think, at this point with the game.
Just go out there and have fun and don't get hurt.
Yeah, and one last question: if people want to get lessons from you or be a part of the school, would that be Shoot to Score Hockey?
Yes, it is. It's on shoottoscorehockey.com. We're a traveling hockey school. We go right across Canada. We did have schools in Austin, Texas, and a couple other places, and I'm actually trying to work on a couple places in the Philadelphia area. I think that Philadelphia would be a good area for us to come in.
Well, like I said there, and Reggie just said as well, shoottoscore.com to check out what they do, the traveling school. But like you said, if you get a chance, you're in the area, go check out the alumni, the reception, and the game. A lot of this is going to be helping the Ed Snyder Foundation and other charities in the Philadelphia area, which the alumni is great at doing. So, Reggie Leach, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and thanks for calling, and thanks for spreading the news on this game and having all our players come back. Thank you very much.
I'll tell you what's up. Based out of Atlantic City, New Jersey, Geek Time Entertainment runs exclusively along with different events in the area to strategize with their partners who will benefit with increased exposure and patron traffic. Geek Time Entertainment will work with your event in increasing the event's traffic via social media, radio, and storefront advertisements.
Holy cow!
Also, they will help increase business for your company and event with different sales incentives.
Duh.
Whether your event will be small or even mid-scale, Geek Time Entertainment is the group to work with.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Contact them today at geektimeentertainment@gmail.com or facebook.com/geektimeentertainment.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Hey wrestling fans, this is Gary Michael Capetta, and you're listening to Crazy Train Radio.